When looking at the importance of brand identity in film marketing, we have to look at the process of marketing campaign and an example of it. The job of the person who allows to promote the film is to create a visibility and create enough awareness and interest in the film and persuade the audience to go and see the film. The next process is the trailer, and this is played on the big screen to engage the audience and also can be available online or mobile where it generally appears best. Then take 2 is digital marketing, as someone on the marketing team who is responsible for working relationships with key internet service providers or other major online sites. Take 4 is the promotion of the film, and this plays a huge role and has for the past few years, and film publicists need to think of an impact of all available media, more specifically online where everything is instantly available. Then awards. This is the build-up of major awards that is an important time for publicists promoting the film for their consideration. Then festivals come into consideration as well, and subject to the release date. Films varying from award considerations are often featured on major film festivals. Next is premieres, and is perceived as glamorous and exclusive, but painstaking and expensive to organise. Premieres usually take place 1 or 2 weeks in advance of the release. Then take 5 is the promotion. Promotion activity can comprise several areas: licensing, merchandise, third-party brand promotion, media and execution promotion, screen programs, and more. Media and advertising comes underneath promotion as well, and a film's advertising campaign might be the last part of a marketing program to be in place. Media advertising campaigns are constructed using the process of paid, owned, and earned channels. Paid is broad advertising, e.g. TV sports posters and space online. Owned is maximizing their own channels, e.g. their websites, film Microsoft's social media websites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And earned is compromising editorial coverage and social network content such as blogs, videos, tweets, and images designed to draw in the film fans. Research and tracking is the last part of this process, and research is extremely important. A research screening can help identify or clarify what elements of a film are the most entertaining, which characters or actors are the most motivating, which setting is the most appealing, and which audience would be the most engaged. This can inform everything from the producers of trailers, TV spots and clips, to the film's artwork, website and apps. An example that I'll be using is the Warm Bodies, and I'll go through a couple of things that they did. When looking at the first process of Warm Bodies, the first poster went up first, shortly after it was announced that it would be hitting the cinemas 1st of February 2015. And then the second poster came out. After being told the film was being hit in 2013, February 1st, it was 2012 and still no trailer had come out, but they did put a zombie makeup tutorial. The official trailer came out in November, and the newest poster came out around this time too. Then it proceeded to have another trailer which came out, which was shorter than the first one, and it had a lot more posters that came out too. Later on, 2 more posters came out, but however, Fandango allowed fans to watch the first 4 minutes of Warm Bodies, and then it continued to announce more clips. Interviews happened before the film aired, and it allowed the audience to visit the set, and interviews were being aired during the season so fans could get excited. The Warm Bodies premiere happened on 31st of January, which is a good marketing campaign as the film actually came out on 1st of February. One of the main ways we thought we would build our strong brand identity was through the use of colour. We used the colours red, black and white to convey our film, as well as make sure we go into the theme of the Empire magazine. Red conveys fire and blood and is associated with energy, war and danger. White is associated with light, goodness, purity and virginity. And black is conveyed with power, elegance, death and evil, and these are things that we believe conveyed well when promoting our film. It gives a sense of mystery and allows the audience to be more engaged. The colours are simple and not too in your face, and Empire has a great way of allowing our magazine to show this. When also looking at the image we used, it was very important that our brand identity was really strong. Empire has a great way of allowing the main actors or the characters to be in the front and not the actual actors themselves. So we made sure when we were doing it that the 2 girls portrayed their characters to the best of their ability. We made sure that Abby was in the front as she was the leader and Holly was behind. It shows the audience that Abby's the leader and she's wearing white, which shows goodness with it, and Holly's wearing black, which shows that maybe the evil, the mystery behind it, and she looks a bit more scared than Abby does. The use of the lighting also helped us a lot when taking this photo, as the lighting is put directly more on Abby than it is on Holly, and the body language and facial expressions help a lot, as Abby's looking away from the camera and Holly's looking towards the magazine, so it gives direct address to the audience. It makes them feel like Holly's looking at them, and it makes them wonder and question what are they both looking at. For our font, we wanted to make sure that we do the normal conventions of a magazine, which is when it comes to the actor's name, it's in bold, but when it's the cell line, it's just normal. We didn't really want it to be too much in the face. We wanted the people to look at the magazine and feel calm and natural about it, but also the main image is the main thing that we were trying to promote, and that's the most important part. When looking at our tagline, the tagline for the Empire magazine is the world's biggest and best movie magazine, which is simple and straight to the point, which is something that they already use in their magazine, so it was really easy for us to put our brand identity. And Empire really helped, like when finding information on Empire, all we had to do was make sure we came up with the cell lines, came up with an image that represented Empire and what it was standing for. Due to the fact that our film is a horror, we also had to make sure that we filled the conventions of a horror film. This is why the colours are very important and the image is very important, because it promotes our film in deeper depth. Just to add on, when looking at the female characters, it's very rare to see females on a main cover of a horror film, so I feel like we made sure that having two female leads is something that you don't generally see, because in horror films it's usually the male that is the protagonist and is the main person, and the women are seen as the weak ones. So we really wanted to make sure that both of these characters were portrayed to the best of our ability, and promotes our film better and engages different target audiences. When looking at the brand identity for our poster, and when looking in colour and deeper depth, we use the colour white for the text, as this is something that most poster conventions considers, because it just stands out, it's bright and it's straight to the point. White is a colour that is used, personally in my opinion, in horror conventions, and having it in block white stands out and it comes across in deeper depth, suggesting lightness, innocence, successful beginnings, or faith and purity, and it doesn't give too much away to the audience because it makes them on edge and it gauges them in a way. Which then leads me into talking about the use of the image that we used itself. The image we used was a camera lying on the floor, and we photoshopped the image of the demon in the camera. So this doesn't give too much away to the audience, but it also makes them question, why is this girl here? What did they capture? We made sure that we blurred out the trees and we focused just on the camera, and the use of the text helps the audience kind of put everything together, that maybe they are in a wood, but what exactly happened. Compared to the magazine where we have the two main female characters, instead we have the image of the demon, which is really good, because on the magazine you're able to see the main characters, but on this you're able to see the villain and get a sense of what the film is about. When looking again at the poster, we used a great example as Blair Witch, because it didn't actually have the main actors in front, and it just consisted of trees, or an interpretation of trees. And in our one, we just have a camera and we have a villain, but it doesn't give too much away. It's not straight in your face. It's something that you'd have to take the time to look at, which I guess in a way is good because it doesn't give too much away, but at the same time it's kind of like you want it to be there so it's visual, but you don't have to keep looking for it. When also looking at brand identity, we didn't use the actors, as we felt like our film wasn't a high-end film, but we wanted people to look more at the image. The image is the thing that draws the audience more. It doesn't give too much away. Having actors, usually I personally believe people go and see the film just for the actors, not for the film itself. Which leads me now to the tagline. We didn't actually use a tagline in our poster, and this is a typical convention of a poster. Instead of having a tagline, we replaced it with "coming soon," as we felt like maybe later on, if you were to promote the film better, we would use the tagline of it. When looking at font, building blocks are a very important part of a poster, as it gives the audience information about the actors the producers and the directors, people involved as the crew cast, and it just awares them of who's in production of it. The font is very simple, it's not straight in your face, it comes across very elegant, and it's straight to the point. When looking at brand identity for our teaser trailer, we wanted to make sure that our ident was the first thing that everyone saw, as this awares the audience of who's created the film and what to expect. The use of the graphics, like the glitches when going into the camera, makes it seem more realistic as the girls are actually filming. Seeing as our main selling point was a YouTube story, using the record button made the audience feel like they're actually watching it or they're the one holding the camera. The use of the colours come across as low-key lighting throughout, and it's very dark, which is a typical convention for horror, because even when it's daylight it still comes across as it's dark. The only time where it's very bright and very light is the YouTube part. Also, something that made our brand identity come across a lot more stronger was the use of the characters. The characters come across just as the magazine and just as the poster as well, I believe, because the poster is the demon, which is the villain in our film, and the magazine come across allows the audience to understand a bit more of the characters. The teaser makes our characters come more to life as you're able to see them talk and move. The use of the font is just like the poster, and I believe the magazine as well. It's straight to the point, it's white and it's simple. The colours black, red and white I feel like come into a great combination, as we really wanted to make sure the colours are simple. They don't come straight in your face, and it engages the audience and intrigues them and draws them in. The teaser trailer itself is something that it brings the brand all together. It's the final thing that lets the audience kind of look at and go, okay, this is what the film is about. And when you look at a magazine, you can't tell that. You can just see an image, and from a poster you can just see an image. But whereas if it's a trailer, our brand comes across a lot more stronger. The use of the music that we had, the use of our ident, the use of the characters and the costume and the setting, it brings everything together, and it allows the audience to know that when the film is coming out, it gives them a bit more information than a magazine and poster would. Our target audience is teenagers and young adults based around the ages of 16 and over. And our main target audience is females, and our secondary is males, and our demographic group would be the middle class. I believe that all three products clearly speak and appeal to our target audience, which is women. I believe that our teaser trailer and our poster could appeal to both our main target audience and our secondary, as men are a lot more prone to watch horror films than women are, but hopefully with the use of having our female characters it would appeal more to women than it would to men. With our poster, it's the same concept that men could also be interested in it, as the women aren't seen. And however, with our magazine, I do believe that it caters more to women than it does to men, as the women come across more strong and the genre comes across very strongly. I believe that seeing as our main target audience was females, I believe we did a good job, as we didn't sexualize the women or make them come across as sexual objects, and we made them come across as strong women who play lead roles, which is something you don't typically see on magazine covers or on posters or in teaser trailers. And I feel like we did a good job in making sure that women, not only in our target audience but in all ages, could watch this film and be represented.